Welcome to a true story from the history of the Cripple Creek Mining District. This video is copyright 2026 by Thomas Saunders. In the summer of 1911, 39-year-old Japanese immigrant Tsuchitaro Miyake was a railroad construction and maintenance worker in the Cripple Creek Gold Mining District of Colorado. Commonly called section hands, these men worked with a small group of 4 to 6 men on a particular section of track. The length of the sections maintained by each group varied, depending on terrain and traffic. In the district, each crew worked a section from as short as 5 miles to a max of probably 10 miles long. There were railroad tracks everywhere through the district, moving people and equipment in and out of the area and moving the ore-containing rock for processing. Building and maintaining railroad tracks and the bed of gravel or crushed rock they sit on was called grading. In addition to building new sections as needed, section hands cleared rock slides that blocked the tracks, repaired track that had been damaged by heavy rains from summer storms, repaired damage from wear, and in the winter helped clear the tracks of snow. In many areas, section hands did not stay in town and travel back and forth each day to the section of track they were working. They lived in mobile tent camps very near their work sites, although there were some camps with rough cabins. These camps were known as grading camps. For fresh drinking water, grading camps depended on water carriers, who hauled drinking water from hydrants in town, from tanks, or from springs. The carriers might haul water in wooden barrels on small wagons, in the familiar tall metal milk cans, or even simple galvanized buckets. Unfortunately, section hands, like the miners who also worked in the area, were subject to fairly high rates of accidents, and fatalities from injury and illness weren't uncommon. As in other industries at the turn of the 20th century, occupational safety was not as high a priority as it is today. On August 11, 1911, Miyake was working with his crew from a grading camp near Midway. Midway was on the route of the Midland Terminal Railway, the line running from Divide to Victor and Cripple Creek. It was never really a town, it was just a small settlement with a few cabins and a couple of saloons for miners. Miyake died after drinking water containing potassium cyanide. It was quickly discovered that a water carrier had mistakenly delivered water to the grading camp that had been taken from the Wild Horse Mill. Mills like the Wild Horse used dilute potassium cyanide solutions in large leaching tanks to dissolve gold from crushed ore. Though dilute, the cyanide solutions used in mills was still lethal. It was unusual to see a Japanese railroad worker in Cripple Creek in 1911. There were almost none, but an estimated 400 Japanese men worked as section hands and railroad laborers in other parts of the state at that time. Although not common in Colorado, there were maybe 10,000 Japanese men working on the railroads in the western United States during the period, with significant numbers in Utah, Montana, and the Pacific Northwest. Miyake was originally from a rural area of Japan that was mostly small villages surrounded by rice paddies. He was from the Tsukubo district in Okayama Prefecture, a very productive rice-growing region that was almost entirely dependent on agriculture. To get to America would have cost Miyake the equivalent of about 3 years' wages for an average Japanese worker, and taken about 3 weeks to steam from Kobe to a port on America's west coast. T. Miyake isn't the only immigrant who lies in Mount Pisgah Cemetery. Along with native-born settlers buried in the cemetery just outside of Cripple Creek are many others who, like Miyake, were drawn to North America from countries abroad. But Miyake may be the person buried here who was born the furthest from Cripple Creek. This is the end of our video. Thanks for watching.